Have you ever had that one relative who just can't seem to keep your name out of their mouth and not in a good way? You know the type. They show up at family gatherings, all smiles and hugs, but behind your back, they're spinning stories that would make a fiction writer blush. It's frustrating, it's hurtful, and it can make you feel completely powerless. Well, it turns out, even Hollywood's biggest stars aren't immune to this kind of family drama. Today, we're diving into the juicy and honestly pretty inspiring story of how Anne Hathaway, America's sweetheart, dealt with a relative who was spreading lies about her. And let me tell you, her approach was pure class, a masterclass in handling negativity with grace and a little bit of strategic genius. This isn't your typical Hollywood scandal. It's a lesson in taking back your own narrative. So, let's set the scene. This was back when Anne Hathaway's star was skyrocketing. She'd gone from the quirky princess in The Princess Diaries to a serious Oscar-nominated actress. The world was falling in love with her talent, her charm, and her down-to-earth personality. But as her fame grew, so did the whispers and the gossip. And shockingly, some of the most hurtful rumors were coming from within her own family. Imagine that. You're achieving your wildest dreams, working incredibly hard, and someone who should be your biggest cheerleader is instead trying to tear you down. Apparently, one of her relatives, let's just call them Cousin Chaos for the sake of the story, was having a field day talking to anyone who would listen. They were allegedly painting a picture of Anne that was completely at odds with the person everyone knew and loved. The story suggested she was difficult, demanding, a diva who had forgotten where she came from. These weren't just harmless little fibs. These were calculated lies designed to damage her reputation. And because they were coming from a family source, they carried a certain weight. The media, always hungry for a story, started picking up on these whispers. You can imagine how devastating this must have been for Anne. It's one thing to deal with anonymous trolls online or sensationalist tabloids, but it's a whole different level of betrayal when it's your own flesh and blood. She was faced with a classic dilemma. Do you confront them and cause a massive family blow-up, or do you stay silent and let the lies fester and spread? It's a tough spot, and frankly, there's no easy answer. A public confrontation could make things even worse, feeding the very media machine that was causing the problem. But staying silent could be seen as an admission of guilt, allowing the false narrative to become her reality. So, what did she do? This is where it gets brilliant. Anne Hathaway didn't stoop to their level. She didn't lash out. She didn't air the family's dirty laundry in a tell-all interview. Instead, she chose a path of quiet, undeniable strength. She decided to let her actions and her character speak louder than any lie ever could. Her strategy was simple, yet powerful. Be so undeniably good, so professional, so kind, that the rumors would eventually collapse under the weight of their own absurdity. She doubled down on her work ethic. On every set, she was known for being the first to arrive and the last to leave. She was always prepared, always professional, and always kind to everyone, from the biggest movie star to the production assistant getting coffee. Directors like Christopher Nolan and Tom Hooper raved about her professionalism and collaborative spirit. Co-stars, from Meryl Streep to Hugh Jackman, spoke glowingly about what a joy she was to work with. Crew members shared stories of her remembering their names, asking about their families, and generally being a wonderful human being. She was building an army of allies, not by asking for their loyalty, but by earning it through her genuine character. This created a powerful counter-narrative. How could the diva rumors be true, when every single person who actually worked with her said the exact opposite? The whispers from Cousin Chaos started to sound less like inside information, and more like the bitter ramblings of someone who was jealous or resentful. The foundation of their lies was crumbling, not because Anne fought them, but because she built something stronger right next to them, a reputation for integrity. But the masterstroke was yet to come. This wasn't just about her professional life, it was about her personal life too. Anne knew the relative was likely motivated by a desire for attention or perhaps even money from selling stories. So, she played the long game. Instead of cutting them off completely, which could have fueled more drama, she employed a tactic of what you might call strategic information management. The next time there was a big family get-together, Anne was there, as warm and engaging as ever. She chatted with everyone, including Cousin Chaos. And when they asked what she was up to, she shared some exclusive news. She told them in confidence about a fantastic new role she was about to take on. She described the character, the amazing script, the visionary director. She made it sound like the role of a lifetime, the next big thing in her career. It was a juicy piece of gossip, the kind of thing a tabloid would pay good money for. Of course, the entire story was a complete fabrication. She made it all up. The director didn't exist. The script was imaginary. The role was a phantom. She planted this carefully crafted piece of misinformation with the one person she knew couldn't keep a secret. And then, she waited. It didn't take long. Within a few weeks, a story appeared in a gossip magazine, citing an anonymous family source, detailing Anne Hathaway's exciting new film project. It had all the details she had shared, almost word for word. And just like that, the trap was sprung. Anne hadn't just caught the liar, she had exposed their methods to the world. When the story was inevitably proven to be false, it wasn't Anne who looked bad. It was the publication that ran it, and more importantly, the anonymous source who was now completely discredited. This move was nothing short of genius. She didn't have to name names or start a family war. She simply set up a situation where the person's own actions revealed their untrustworthiness. From that point on, any story coming from a family insider about Anne Hathaway would be met with extreme skepticism. Who would believe a source that had been so publicly and embarrassingly wrong before? She had effectively neutralized their power without ever having to engage in a messy public fight. She protected her reputation, her career, and her peace of mind, all by being smarter, more patient, and more strategic. It was the ultimate checkmate. The revenge wasn't loud or angry. It was quiet, elegant, and devastatingly effective. The aftermath of this whole affair is perhaps the most telling part of the story. The flow of negative rumors from that particular family source dried up almost immediately. They had been exposed, and their currency, their perceived access and credibility, was gone. Anne, meanwhile, continued to thrive. Her career reached even greater heights, culminating in an Academy Award for her role in Les Miserables. She became a mother, a UN Goodwill Ambassador, and continued to be one of the most respected and beloved actresses in the industry. She proved that you don't have to engage with toxicity on its own terms. You don't have to sling mud to win a fight. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to rise above it, focus on your own integrity, and let the truth be your ultimate defense. Her story is a powerful reminder that while we can't always control what others say about us, we can control how we react. We can choose grace over anger, strategy over impulse, and integrity over everything. So, the next time you find yourself dealing with a cousin chaos in your own life, maybe take a page out of Anne Hathaway's book. Focus on being the best version of yourself. Let your character and your actions be your shield. And remember that the truth, paired with a little bit of clever strategy, is often the most powerful revenge of all. It's not about getting even. It's about getting ahead, on your own terms, with your dignity intact. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and diving into this incredible story. What do you think of Anne's approach? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more stories like this. It really helps us out, and we'd love to have you as part of our community. Until next time, stay classy.